Hi, let us now look at assessment criteria 2.3 for societal impact. Assessment criteria 2.3 for societal impact. So here we are going to discuss a few important theories. We're going to look at how the stakeholder concept or a partnership strategy based on collaborative stakeholder partnerships or co-creation strategies will be important to deliver a change program in an organization. So when you are moving from a traditional marketing setup to that of a societal marketing philosophy, you will need to reorient yourself in terms of your strategy, in terms of the culture of the organization, and also your change management program. So you are moving from a mindset of traditional marketing, which is marketing to increase sales only, to a contemporary approach of undertaking marketing to improve sales, but doing it bearing in mind the societal, the sustainability impacts of your marketing efforts. So in doing that, one needs to look at things holistically. You need to build partnerships. You need to manage your stakeholders better. And you need to ensure that everything is coordinated, which means your traditional marketing, your digital marketing, as well as your sustainable or societal marketing strategies. All of them must come together. And you need to adopt a collaborative approach. So we're going to here look at how partnerships can help improve the sustainability efforts of the organization. And in particular, we are going to look at how it will enhance the capability, the reputation, and the delivery of the value proposition. Further, we are going to look at how opportunities can be exploited, how you can look at third-party certifications, ethical partnerships, look through how supply chains can add value to the company's ethical stance and sustainability stance. We're going to discuss concepts like human welfare, collaboration and co-creation, and finally discuss risk management. We've discussed this theory already, the Mandela matrix or the power and interest matrix. And we are going to learn a new theory called the consumer citizen matrix. The consumer citizen matrix. So in terms of partnerships, you see, guys, partnerships are very important when you are growing as a business. Partnerships are critical. You need to have partnerships with various stakeholders. Sometimes you might need to partner customers to co-create. Sometimes you need to partner suppliers, distributors, maybe even the government. If you're a bank, if you're a telecommunication organization, telco. And in many cases, increasingly today, there are companies partnering even competitors in order to grow the industry. So partnerships must be aligned to the company's values, the organization's values. And you need to look at, especially when you're partnering suppliers and distributors, because you can claim that you are a sustainable organization. You can claim that you are Nike, you are Patagonia, you are Ben and Jerry's, you are Apple. And these are all good companies that talk about sustainability and societal marketing. But if your suppliers are not living up to that reputation, or your suppliers, and this is why it is important for us to look at contact tracing. You remember that word from COVID, right? How you trace your suppliers. And that is important, especially if you're a global organization, a manufacturing organization. You need to look at a few levels of suppliers who supply to you to see whether they are compliant to all the regulations, the sustainability efforts, and the practices that you have put in place as an organization. You must ensure capability and reputation of partners and the delivery of values. This is why when you're looking for partners, distributors, suppliers, agents, wholesalers, you need to see whether they can live up to the brand reputation and the company's brand values. So an example here is how Patagonia is a company that is one of the biggest brands in the world for sustainability and societal marketing. In fact, last week I bought something from Patagonia. I bought a jacket from Patagonia. And Patagonia jackets are not very, very good looking. I mean, there are better looking brands. But right here, the word brand Patagonia is there. And it's expensive. It is much more expensive than a normal, right, jacket that you can buy, especially if you're in the cold weather. There's the North Face. There are so many other brands that you can buy. But Patagonia charges a premium and they put the brand here, Patagonia. So people who wear the brand Patagonia are people who are environmental conscious. So if you are wearing the brand Patagonia, someone will look at you and respect you for paying a higher price for an organization that claims to be the world's best sustainability focused organization. And that is something that the brand has built over time. So Patagonia has many partnerships in terms of environmental NGO partnerships. You can watch the video I have placed in Google Classroom to understand the Patagonia's marketing strategy based on sustainable marketing. And in healthcare, you have brands like Johnson & Johnson, who's also another brand name in the world that is a top brand known for its sustainability and societal marketing efforts. They also partner Save the Children organization globally. And then in the food and beverage category, Starbucks, in terms of ethical sourcing, partners Fair Trade and Conservation International. So these are companies that look at these partnerships, these stakeholder partnerships that will have a knock-on effect on each other, that will help the company and will also help the cause. So you pursue these partnerships with these stakeholders, and you need to ensure that there is a match in terms of partners delivering the desired organizational brand values. So this is something that you need to be mindful about when practicing sustainable marketing. And Giant Food is an example. Giant Food in the West is one company that is a very good example, right, where they sell localized products, right? Minority-owned suppliers on shelves. So as you can see, They are supporting the local minority producers consciously, the local minority producers, right? So whilst you can stock all the other brands, you're also supporting. Giant is a food supplier that showcases and they are renowned. So sometimes when you go to these remote villages in the West, they're large countries, right? I think I've seen this happening even in Nuerelia, where some of the supermarkets in Nuerelia, if you go to Cargill's in Norelia, Kiel's in Norelia, you can see they also support the local producers. And that is a wonderful um, gesture to show that you are supporting the small timers. I mean, you can still support the Hemas, the Unilevers, the big companies, but it is important that you showcase in this remote rural areas. A great example is a company like Giant, and customers value this. Customers see this as a responsible organization that cares for the community, right? So this is a great example. And when partnering potential partners, you must consider how it will have a knock-on effect on each other. What are the opportunities? What are the benefits? If you are trying to partner a global organization for a cause, or let's say you're going to partner the botanical gardens, or the museum, or the local zoo, or the aquarium. So you are embracing a cause, but you must ensure that the values are in line and the opportunities are also there for you, not only to support the cause, but there has to be a benefit to the business as well. And you can also look at various certifications. We have fair trade certifications. We have certifications from ISO and so many other certifications that you can get. The B Corp certification is one of the most difficult certifications to get. We looked at that. And you have to look at ethical partnerships. Partnerships must ensure that they support each other ethically as well. And we spoke of supply chains before. How the supply chain suppliers can play a very big role in terms of your sustainability efforts, because you are buying all your raw materials from your suppliers, and it is important that your suppliers comply. Now, if you look at the Dilma example, Dilma is a brand that is world famous, a Sri Lankan brand that is world famous. So is MAS. But if you go to the four corners of the world, anyone would know Dilma. And Dilma, if you look at places like Australia, New Zealand, where Dilma is very, very strong. Dilma is very, very strong. The brand Dilma, Ceylon tea, Dilma is very strong. So if you look at in places like Australia or New Zealand, you know, Dilma is strong because of their sustainability efforts, because those markets are very, very sustainability focused, including Europe. You know, guys, I have been to, I mean, it sounds really funny, okay? I have been to shops in big malls, high-end malls, that have stores that sell second-hand clothing. And the name of the shop is, we are a sustainable, eco-friendly, sustainable, environment conscious organization. And you can see hangers, and people come and they get clothes, good clothes sometimes, jackets for $10, $20. The real price might be 250, 300. but they're not recycled. They are just second-hand clothes, washed and displayed nicely. And they call it pre-loved. They'll call it different names. And you get different brands as well. The Gucci's, the Pradas, the Armani's. You will also get the H&M. You'll also get the Zara. You'll also get other brand names. But I have, with my eyes, seen how people shop in those stores. People shop in those stores. Now, you and I might look at them and say, my God, how can we wear something that someone else that we don't know who have worn? How can? No, in the West, right? They go into those shops and they proudly buy those clothes because they like to proudly associate themselves as a sustainability focused citizen and a consumer. And it's amazing, right? I was also just to share a story with you. There was a guy who proposed to his girlfriend when I was recently visiting New Zealand. There was a guy who proposed to his girlfriend on top of a glacier, on top of a glacier. So we went on top of a glacier and only few of us. So he decided it was a nice romantic place. So he pulled out a small box from his pocket and he proposed to the girl, right? So the girl accepted and all of us clapped and then they had to hug each other and very happy moment. So quickly we pulled out a bottle of champagne and we celebrated, right? So it was in a very remote area. Glacier. Glacier is ice. Okay. So now I was looking at all this, and then all of us went and looked at the ring. That's what you usually do. No, wow. So we were expecting it to be a diamond ring or a gold, a platinum, whatever, very expensive rock. But it was actually a stone that is a natural stone that you can find in your garden, which is polished. So now we all went and looked at the ring, right? Because it is displayed now. So now when we looked at the ring and we said, wow, what is that stone? Actually, it was not very nice, right? But you don't say that. No, you say, wow, what is that stone? I've never seen that stone. Doesn't look like a diamond at all. And the girl said, this is exactly what I've told him. One day, if you're proposing to me, I don't want any diamonds. I don't want any precious stones. I am 100% eco-environmental societal conscious person. Therefore, if you're giving me, you have to get a stone from your garden or someplace and polish it and put it on a whatever ring you want, gold or whatever, and give it. So the boy had done exactly that. So I was thinking about, of course, it would have been really cheap for the boy to get that kind of stone. But look at the mentality. Look at how they would be proud to be associated with the environment, society. Look at the thinking, look at the mentality, right? So that is a kind of thinking, especially in the West. And in this market, sometimes if you go into an area that is full of these people and you drop or you throw something that you consume, you eat ice cream and you put the small piece on the ground, they will pick it up and throw it. I have seen it with my eyes. They will pick it up and throw it. They won't tell you. They will pick it up and they'll throw it. So that is how they are conditioned. That is how their mind is conditioned, right? So in terms of supply chains, human welfare, collaboration, co-creation, and how you manage risks with your partners. How you manage risks with your partners. So these are all important concepts and strategies one must consider when partnering suppliers, distributors, other stakeholders with regards to societal market. So let us now discuss how you would go forward with an ethical supply chain agenda or a practice. So when you are positioned as an ethical organization, now if you Google, can you do this exercise? If you Google the world's most ethical environmental conscious organizations, can you Google that? Can you Google that? The world's most ethical environmental conscious organizations. You will get brands. Right on top, you'll get Patagonia. You will get Starbucks, Lego, right? You will get companies like Johnson and Johnson. And these are some of the brands that are world-renowned brands. So because of their ethical stance. So when it comes to ethics, you need to be mindful of the supply chain practices, right? What are the supply chain practices? Your suppliers should not violate fair labor practices. Sometimes MAS holdings might say we are upholding the best labor standards and practices. But the suppliers that MAS holdings buy supplies from, if they are not environmental, societal focused, then their labor standards are in question, then what MAS does is also flawed. Sustainable sourcing, fair labor standards, transparency and traceability. Transparency and traceability, very, very important. Traceability of your suppliers. The transparency, if you audit them, if you audit your suppliers, are they transparent with their processes to show that they are practicing sustainable manufacturing standards? Supplier audits and assessments. Do they do periodic audits via an independent party like PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, ACCA? They do what we call sustainability audits. Do they practice DEI, diversity, inclusion strategies, equality? What are their recycling habits? Is it measured, time-bound? What is their compliance with regulators, conformance to law and order, and community engagement? So you need to keep a tab on your suppliers to ensure your suppliers conform to ethical supply chain practices. So some of the practices for sustainable supply chain might be a supplier code of conduct. You can have a supplier code of conduct and get them to sign it. Green packaging, you can insist that your suppliers conform to green packaging. Sustainable transformation, eco-friendly, use electric vehicles, not burn fossil fuels, petrol, diesel, okay? Ethical sourcing, waste reduction and recycling. Designing the product must be environmental friendly, and how they engage their stakeholders. So here are some practices for a supply chain, sustainable supply chain. And it is your duty to make sure that your suppliers are compliant. So the Mendeley matrix is something that we've discussed before. I'm not going to discuss this again. The Mendeley matrix, which is called the power and interest matrix, high power, high interest, low power, low interest. High power, high interest stakeholders, as you can see here, they are the key players. They need to be managed very, very carefully. They need to be managed very carefully, right? But this theory is something new, and I want to spend some time with you on this. Now, here the consumer citizen matrix is a theory that talks about how you and I need to know that we practice dual roles. We have a role as a consumer when we buy something. So we must be a conscious consumer, right? Conscious consumer. Or are we only a self-interested consumer? A conscious consumer or a self-interested consumer? Then all of us are also citizens. All of us are also citizens. Even if we don't buy, before we become a consumer, we are a citizen. So are you an engaged citizen or are you a disengaged citizen? So if you are a highly engaged citizen towards societal marketing, right? Let's say you are really, as a citizen, you are highly engaged and to foster societal marketing, sustainability marketing. So that is a citizen highly engaged. And you are also, when you buy products, you are highly engaged. That is called the conscious consumer. High and high. You value ethical brands, sustainability, and corporate social responsibility. So your citizen is also high, consumer is also high in terms of your focus. That's a conscious consumer. So you believe as a citizen also you have a responsibility. As a consumer also you have a responsibility. So only you buy those kinds of products, right? Then low is you as a citizen, you are disengaged. And as a consumer, you don't really care about the environment. Apathetic, not engaged in social or consumption responsibility. Low and low. Then as a citizen, you are not so concerned, but as a consumer, you are concerned. High and low. Consumer high, citizen low. That is a self-interested consumer. Prioritizes convenience, luxury, and personal gain over societal issues. You, as a citizen, you are low, but as a consumer, you are high. Right? Then engaged citizen is, as a citizen, you are high. As a consumer, you are low. Prioritizes civic duties over material consumption. Values activism. Values activism. So now when you look at these four quadrants in detail with examples, right? If you look at the consumer citizen matrix applied to societal marketing, this is an important slide. So the engaged citizen, or let's start with the conscious consumer, high and high, values ethical brand, sustainability, and corporate social responsibility. The marketing approach should be promote sustainable products, highlight fair trade and social impact, use cause-related marketing. Example, Patagonia's Don't Buy This Jacket campaign. I took you through that, which encourages mindful consumption. Engaged citizen, high and low, prioritizes civic duties over material consumptions, values activism, focus on advocacy marketing, encourages brand engagement through social movements, support policy changes. Example, Ben and Jerry's campaign on climate action and social justice. Self-interested consumer, high and low, prioritizes convenience, luxury, and personal gain over societal issues. Use aspirational marketing, but integrate ethical nudges. Tesla's marketing luxury EVs while promoting sustainability indirectly. So you can see the example. Disengaged citizen, low and low, not engaged in social consumption or responsibility. Use educational marketing, social proof, and gamification to encourage ethical behaviors. Nudging strategies like supermarkets placing eco-friendly products at eye level. Nudging means you provoke. Okay. So this is a new theory, the consumer citizen matrix. All right. So with that, we conclude assessment criteria 2.3. I will see you in chapter 3. Thank you.